Who are the coolest dudes on the planet?
United States veterans.
What's the coolest sport on the planet?
Pro wrestling.
And what would be the coolest podcast on the planet? That would be this one.
U.S. military vets talking pro wrestling.
This is the No Shave Man Cave. Two badass disabled vets sharing their love of pro wrestling, giving you their perspective as fans, talking about current events and matches, history of titles, and who knows what else. Let's do it.
Welcome to the No Shave Men Cave. Now your hosts, Ellie Jair and Jay Tilley.
Welcome to the No Shave Man Cave. I'm Ellie Jair.
I am Jay Tilley.
Brother, it has been a minute, and it's good to be back in the cave with you and here on the microphone talking a little bit of wrestling. How you been, man?
I'm good, man. Hanging in there. It's been a minute. We got to get back into our normal schedule because we talked about it, and then Tuesday fell through, and I'm like, oh, man, well, we got to talk about it again. So it's good. We got to get back to our normal Tuesdays and Thursdays and get the podcast out. More than just once in every couple of weeks. I think the last show on our personal channel was the 22nd. So a little bit of a break for us. We did the Saturday show on the Fantasy Sports Core, but haven't been able to do ours. But life is getting a little more normalized.
Yeah, settling down a little bit.
Big sales that had happened at certain companies are slowed down. So hopefully coming out of this week, going into next week, our schedules are going to balance out a little better and we should be good to go. So I'm looking forward to that. But big week in wrestling, though. Interesting stuff going on. Since we didn't do our review of Raw on Tuesday, I kind of figured we'd talk today and just kind of sum up the week, kind of like we do in our Saturday show, but, we'll just do it a little bit of it today to kind of talk through Raw. Kind of want to get your opinions on it, see what you think, and then, move right on in, talk some AEW. Maybe talk a little bit about the news that came out today about AEW banning some moves. Wow. Matter of fact, we can start with that if you want, because I got the report pulled up right now.
So, man, I just, you told me, hey, did you see the news? And I was like, about? Yeah, they're banning moves. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. And kudos to Tony and, everyone. They keep pushing the envelope. Yep. There were some folks that were pretty critical about it's really up to Tony to, protect the wrestlers from themselves. So, yeah, I'm interested to hear what moves are going to be either banned or having to be pre-approved by medical. So I can't wait to hear that. Yeah.
So this came from Fightful Select, Sean Ross Sapp and the team over there. So list of moves and things banned from AEW sent to talent, and then moves that require clearance. So basically, there were some protocols developed by the AEW medical team, AEW medical team, coaches, and referees to help protect the talent, staff, crew, and fans. The document has said, while there is always a risk in pro wrestling, they want to minimize the risk without compromising the quality of the talent's performances and ability to be creative. Specifically, a document was sent out that outright banned unprotected chair shots to the head. Of course, makes sense. Shots to the back of the head, makes sense. Buckle bombs, blind moves backwards into the turnbuckle, fencing responses, which they have in parentheses, unnatural position of arms following a concussion. Not sure what that means. Oh, maybe like the cramping up, I guess. I don't know.
Right.
Seizure cells, spitting, bleeding in the crowd, weapons or projectiles in the crowd, taking drinks and food from guests in the crowd. Wonder what stemmed from that one.
Maxwell.
or physical contact with the crowd. We're told that nothing with blood on it should be thrown into the crowd either. So a lot of them make sense, right? I think a lot of us, when we watched Forbidden Door and saw Bryan Danielson doing the seizure thing, it was a little scary, and I'm kind of okay with them because I don't know if medical knew he was going to do that. So I'm wondering if it was like, oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
And the buckle bombs, that's what put Finn Balor out for a while.
Yeah, and Sting too.
Broke Sting's neck. So,
man.
I'm good with some of them. I think those make sense. Bleeding in the crowd, yeah, I'm good with that. Don't bleed in the crowd. I think it'll be interesting on what that's going to do for Anarchy in the Arena and those kind of shows. But maybe what they'll do is brawl around that, and then when they decide to juice, they'll get into the into the crowd or into the ring and do it. I'll skip ahead here, and then below is a list verbatim from the document of moves that need to be approved by a coach or medical staff. So spots and bumps on the ring apron and outside, table, ladder, chair spots in and out of the ring, only allowed with padding. Any elevated spots outside of the barricades, like dives and ladder spots on the cage, around the arena, and other places outside the ring.
Wow.
Pile driver, tombstone variations, including sit-down drivers, inverted position, hurricanranas, and vertebreakers. High-risk dives or top rope moves, 450, 630, double moonsaults, etc. Intentional bleeding of any sort, not just blading. Throwing people into, through, over the ring steps, commentary table, bell table, or guardrails, barricades. Weapon usage, chairs, pipes, kendo sticks, hammers, ring bells, bats, chains, etc. Title belts. Thumbtacks, skewers, bob wires, and other sharp puncturing objects. Powder, aerosol sprays, or liquids. Throwing any weapons or objects. Chairs. Choking, strangling with hands or a weapon or hanging spots. Injury spots or angles, whether or not medical is involved or called to the ring. Any physicality in the crowd or crowd brawling. Any physicality involving referees, managers, extras, celebrities, or special guests. Now, to make sure everybody's clear, that's things they've got to get coaches. So basically, they can't just go out and do this, call it on the fly in the match. So those are the things that prior to, they're going to have to kind of get the approval of, hey, we want to do this. Tony, are you good with it? Medical staff, are you good with it? And I think all those make sense, right? Because you want your medical staff and, the coaches and the producers in the back to know that you're about to pull out some thumbtacks or you're going to sell an injury angle. Because I'm sure watching the back and you see that, you're like, oh my God, they're not supposed to be doing that. So I think those are not bad. It'll be interesting if we see much of that translate into the ring style or what we see. I think it's very interesting that this comes out today when all the talks and the rumor mill is that Warner Brothers and AEW are in pretty deep negotiation talks right now for an extension. What is it? The $1 billion they were joking about a while back. So very curious if this is like a list of things that like the Warner Brother guys are like, hey, we really love you guys, but can we tone down XYZ because, our shareholders kind of get freaked out by these.
That's a very fair thing. Their AEW's sort of by default going to be a publicly traded company now. Being sort of having the big brother of Paramount and all that. But yeah, I think that's very, that's a smart investment on Paramount's part, and doesn't necessarily mean that AEW is going to become as fan friendly as the WWE, but I think it'll definitely calm the escalation down quite a bit, because they've been really pushing the envelope, and Kenny's gotten lucky a couple of times. I think Swerve got pretty lucky too, and then most recently when CM Punk took a kick off the top rope during the Owen Hart match, Owen Hart Classic match. That was a good bump, and fortunately he didn't get hurt. So oof.
The part I thought was interesting is the stuff on the apron and the outside of the ring. Like that happens all the time in AEW, and I guess, like I said, that's one of those that just has to have coaches' approval. Mm-hmm. So I guess that's just, hey, we want to work this in the match. And to me, that's probably a safety thing for these young people like Nick Wayne, who we just saw debut, 18-year-old kid. Jungle Boy is pretty young. I could see those younger guys going, oh, I'm going to take this.
Yeah.
And kind of the older vets that are acting as your coaches are coming and go, let's work through this. How are you going to take this? How are you going to protect yourself on this? Because I'm not sure. I guess if these went out today, I don't know when the talent got these. But if you watch Dynamite, Ruby Soho took a nosedive on the apron. There were things that happened in that show that went right on with what some of this was, or what they said. So very interesting. And, I think, like I said, I understand with the Warner Brother thing, but I also think that Tiger Driver that he took at Forbidden Door might have spurred a little. He's like, ooh. And then, like I said, the Brian Danielson, whatever he goes by now, him selling the seizure in the ring after all his concussion things. I think both of those were probably. I could see Tony Khan back going, oh, Jesus, don't break Kenny's neck. Yep. He's my cash cow.
Yeah, I was going to say, protect the investment.
Yeah, you saw Will Ospreay did the same thing to somebody over in Japan just recently.
Yeah.
That same Tiger Driver. The guy tucked a little more, and it wasn't as like, oh, geez, like he did to Kenny, but
yeah,
it was still pretty interesting. So.
Man, yeah, that was. Oof. Yeah, you see some of those moves, and the way the boys and girls go down. Watching Finn and Seth go through the video montages. It catches when Rollins did sort of the buckle bomb to Barry Barricade there, and you just watch him snap his arm back in. You're like, "Oof, mommy, that had to hurt." And here's AEW saying, "Hey, you've got to get pre-approval." Now, do you think this is like a no kidding, I want to protect the boys and girls, or is this like a, I'm looking out for my wrestlers, but this is sort of like an administrative drill. I have to do this because, Big Brother's watching, or?
I think it's legit. Tony's also the one that goes out and pays for these guys' medical bills if they get hurt and everything.
Well, that's true too, yeah.
And I could see him being the guy and like I said, he could have watched this thing with Omega in the back and went, oh my gosh, if he just snapped Omega's neck, what am I going to do? So, and then Bryan Danielson broke his arm legit. Shoot broke his forearm in that x-ray. That's a hell of a work, brother. So, I mean...
That's a nice Photoshop.
Yeah, that's a good Photoshopping right there. But I figure probably all that combined with the fact that the negotiations, I imagine it's a real deal. Because if you look at the band moves, there wasn't anything that I thought was over the top. Like unprotected chair shots, 100% agree. And in all honesty, I haven't seen any of those since Cody took the very first one at All In the first time, where Shawn Spears just laid him out.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be a gimmick chair, and they grabbed the wrong chair and just laid Cody out.
Bing.
But most of the time they protect, or at least I can't think of any that I've seen unprotected. Mm-hmm. If so, maybe Moxley and maybe Omega occasionally take it unprotected. But so that one makes sense to me. Hits to the back of the head, blind hits. Makes sense. Yeah. Just like in football, you don't want to get hit from behind and not know it's coming. I think some of those could probably be worked through when you talk to your coaching is like, hey, we wanted to make it look like I'm hitting from behind, but my head's going to be turned so I can see him coming. Or I'll be slightly turned. But if you're not prepared to take a hit to the back of your neck, or you do some damage, just like whiplash. It's just like a car accident, right?
So do you think Adam Cole now, is he going to have to change his finisher because the flying knee...
That's one I was thinking about.
Yeah.
The lower the boom, it's a knee shot to the back of the head, technically. So does he go to the Panama Sunrise as just his new finisher? Does he maybe aim for the lower back instead of the back of the head now?
Yeah.
But same thing with if they bring Will Ospreay again, is he going to be able to do the hidden blade? Because that's that elbow shot that usually hits him in the back of the head with it.
That's a good one.
And maybe they'll make exceptions, right? Like, hey, in your match when you go on your knees, he pulls his knee pound down, that's coming, so you're ready for it. I think maybe this is geared more towards the random lariat to the back of the head. Or I don't know. I mean, I don't want to read too much into it, and I don't want to report on it, but do want to read it again. That was from Fightful. And if you've got the $5, it's worth reaching out to Fightful because getting those emails, because they got some pretty good behind the scenes. Usually we don't cover news stuff, but you said you hadn't heard it, so I was like, well, I'm going to read this and see what you think.
That's really cool. Kudos to Tony and the team over there at AEW, looking out for your team, and definitely they've had a series of injury bugs, so very cool to see them moving in this direction.
Yeah, yep. Excited, and again with all the talks of the new TV deal coming, so I think he's putting his business in order to be able to have longevity there.
Right.
Speaking of longevity and things in order in the future, did you catch the Nick Wayne debut with Swerve Strickland on Dynamite?
Yeah, I wasn't able to watch the entire episode, but I caught some of the vignette pieces of it and some of the clips on YouTube. This guy, in 10 years, oof,
yeah,
I can only imagine.
Third generation star. His dad actually trained Swerve and Darby Allin, so kind of that same style. And I watched it, and so I've seen a lot of his indie stuff, and I watched this, and I'm like, ooh, he's nervous. Obviously, it's his first televised 700,000 or whatever the viewing is. Mm-hmm. Plus, I think they had maybe 1,500 to 2,000 people. So it's probably the biggest crowd he's ever been in front of. But he was like a step slow in some parts and then a step fast in some places. And I'm like, that's nerves. Like, he'll get those shaken out. And I think putting him with Swerve was a good move because they've done a lot of stuff outside in the indies.
Yeah.
So, and Swerve gave him a lot too.
Yeah. That's good. I mean, I think Swerve, everything we've seen and heard. He's all about the business. He's all about making things better for everyone involved. And I think it's the right guy to have. I don't know about Learning Tree. I think there's probably some other wrestlers over there, but yeah, I think it's a good call, and I like his move set and the fact that it's going to be Darby Allin, Swerve, and then Wayne, sort of all in that in that storyline. I think that'll be a lot of fun and make for some really good matches.
Yeah, I agree. I like Swerve. That one thing where Swerve does that kick to the side when the guy's on his knees, every time he does it, I'm like, oh, it looks so slick. I just don't get how he's so good at it. But yeah, I think that storyline will be good. And then another surprise to me was the Commander Chris Jericho match. I thought that was phenomenal. Maybe not like match of the year contender. Maybe phenomenal is a little high, but it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very slick. I was worried when I saw the hey, this is the match that's coming. I'm like, oh, Jericho's going to get gassed. Like, he's not going to be able to keep up. Nah, they did this really good. They paced it really well. And, even the Don Callis storyline afterwards, I'm a little intrigued to see what's going to happen with that. Because later in the night, you got, Hager coming out and saying, what's up? I've been with you since day one, and you're going to leave us to go join Don Callis. So I'm curious where all that's going to spin off to. I'm curious if we're going to see a JAS versus the Callis family because he's going to say no to him. But we're already seeing the JAS kind of break up a little bit with the Sammy and Danny Garcia. We're seeing them, they kind of split a little bit in that tag match, which, again, really good match. It was a good Dynamite. It's a shame you didn't watch the whole thing, so definitely on your DVR later at some point you need to watch it because fantastic. The MJF Adam Cole stuff, I'm loving it, man. I laughing my butt off. I think it's their timing together, their comedic presence. Hey, I was going to kick you in the face. I was going to do the same to you, but I kind of like you now. and we all, at least I, am like, all right, well, which one of you are really still going to do it? Is MJF really 2 steps ahead of Adam Cole, or is Adam Cole a step ahead of that? And, Roderick Strong, do you really like this guy? Yeah, he's not a bad guy. And, MJF is so good, though, because he did the same thing with the Punk feud, like where he came out before he attacked him with the dog collar that set up for the dog collar match, and he made us all feel, oh man, like I kind of feel bad for this guy. Like I loved you CM Punk and all this, and you just kind of blew me aside and took a picture, and I was just another day to you, and that hurt my feelings when he said that. So we're all going, oh man, and then he just beats the hell out of Punk with that chain and leads to the dog collar match, and I'm like, oh. So that's what he's doing here with Adam Cole. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm really enjoying this, and I don't want to see them break up. I'd love to see them. And I did some fantasy booking thinking, okay, let's see. So they're going to win against Sammy, Guevara, and Garcia in the blind tag team thing. I'm like, all right, we'll have them win. But then what I would do on Collision is I'd have Ricky Starks and Jay White beat in the 2 out of 3 falls. I'd have them take the championship because I'm like, well, then you could totally turn Adam Cole heel, keep MJF babyface, and have Adam Cole join his buddy Jay White in Bullet Club Gold. Ooh. So you could set all that up, and they go in thinking they're getting a title shot. In the middle of the match, Adam Cole just turns around and super kicks MJF and slides out of the ring because all the talks have been they want to eventually make MJF a babyface, even though he said he doesn't want to do it. But this would be a good way to set that up. You flip Adam Cole, make him a heel. Then you can also kind of flip Britt Baker into a heel role and have her turn him on Jamie Hayter like we want to see coming, because it wouldn't make sense to have one a babyface, one a heel. So I'm like, they could be some pretty good storylines setting up here down the road, and then you set up All In and you've got MJF and Adam Cole, but the heel face dynamic is completely opposite of what we thought it was going to be.
Yep. Yeah. Wow. That would be extremely interesting, because then you have all of Adam Cole's fans. You've got the Roderick Strong aspect of him being this. Are you freaking serious?
Yep.
So, who does he side with? I would think he would go the route of Adam Cole, or he may go, man, why are you doing this? We said we wanted to do it differently here than we did at the other place. But yeah, it'll be, man, I don't know.
Well,
it was
not only that. The other thing you could do with that, so if he joins them, you've got Adam Cole, Jay White, Juice Robinson, and the Guns. That's 5 people. there's 5 people in the Elite now too. And they had this storyline thread that they were doing where Adam Cole was kind of getting in the Young Bucks' ears, talking to the Young Bucks while Kenny Omega was out injured. Now you could kind of start stringing that back along, and now you set up the next Elite feud, and it's going to be Elite versus Bullet Club.
Wow.
Totally could see that happening, and totally could see them connecting some dots to where, maybe Omega's sitting at home and he watches the video for the first time and goes, wait, and he calls out Adam Cole after the fact. Or Young Bucks decide to go after the tag titles, and you get the Young Bucks versus Jay White and Juice, and Adam Cole gets involved, and you spin off a feud, and now you've got there's a lot of stuff they can do, and I think, and I know like it could be reaching, but this is AEW, man. They do this stuff all the time, and these kind of swerves and crazy storylines, and revisit something from 4 years ago, and now you're going, oh.
Now I see. Yeah. You could tie everything back in to, maybe even to some Ring of Honor stuff or to some indie stuff, and then somewhere along the way, MJF is like, hey man, I thought we were going to, hang out or do whatever, because he made that comment like, wow, playing video games is a lot of fun when you're playing with a friend. They were like, and Adam was like, friends? Wait, what? Yeah. So now you're seeing a different side of MJF. Do you really want to see that side? Because I really enjoy the fact that MJF has stayed in character and stayed true.
Yeah.
And to sort of mess with that dynamic, I think he could pull it off because he's that old soul of wrestling, even though the way they were filming the video with him, with Adam Cole and MJF, it was Adam Cole, acting like the young wrestler, like, oh, let's play video games, where MJF is thinking, yeah, let's go out to the bar. And so that I like the twist and dynamic. So hopefully they won't wrap this up too quick, because like you said, this could be fun and entertaining for quite a while.
Yeah. I really am enjoying it. And we saw a little bit when he did it with Sammy Guevara too. So we know MJF can play this kind of goofy, almost good guy role, and I'm loving it. I love the way he runs around him and he does the whole undisputed entrance that they used to do, where he gets on. Dude, yeah, I was like, oh, this is good stuff, man. He's such a goofball, and
yeah,
I think the fans would love to cheer for him, and he's goofy, and he's getting them to chant for body slams, and he's getting double lariat over, like, and when he picks up Big Bill and body slams, and the room pops. It's like, that's saying something. That's building an emotional investment in a character where he's hamming it up so bad, like he can't body slam this guy. And just that match in general, there's so much comedic aspects of it, but not in like an Orange Cassidy style match. Just the way they played off each other, and the way Big Bill and Brian Cage kind of played the big guys, and it was just great. I literally was laughing out loud at parts of it, and that's how often does that really happen in wrestling? You might go, huh, okay. Yeah. I was laughing. I'm like, this is great. It was one of my favorite things to watch.
It's good to see Brian Cage, getting over. I think, he's this massive slab of meat who, although his body does not look lucha, this guy can get up and go, and he's had some back issues and stuff, so he's probably not going to be doing any moonsaults or anything anytime soon, although he could if he needed to. And then it's awesome to see Big Bill with everything that he dealt with. He's 7 feet tall, and you can't teach that. So it's awesome to see them in the ring. Interesting that MJF and Adam Cole continue to move on in the tournament, and it's, what is it going to lead to? What is it going to turn into? I love the idea of Britt Baker as a heel. Man, that would just be like, oh man, that would be awesome. So you get Adam Cole, you get that double turn. MJF becomes a face. Adam Cole in his heelish ways. Man, that would be, you called it. I think that would just be a license to print money.
It would be so good. And then when is All In? It's coming up pretty soon, isn't it? Like August 1st? August 27th. Okay. Yeah. So we got a little over a month. Because I was thinking they're building to Blood and Guts, but they still haven't started building a good program for All In. And I'm curious. I'm hoping Jamie Hayter's going to be back, because I'd love to see Jamie Hayter go for that title and win it in her hometown or home country.
God.
I mean, that would be great, especially 75,000 tickets sold now or something ridiculous. And then, you know,
shout out to AEW, man. That is awesome.
That's crazy.
Shout out to the, you know, to the fan base of AEW. This little upstart company 4 years ago is now damn near capacity in one of the most historic stadiums in London, or in England anyway, or United Kingdom. Just super cool. This is going to be something that, if, you know, for folks that are going, that's going to be something you're going to get that t-shirt, I was there, and have a really, really cool story. So good on you.
If you're part of the fam and going, I'm a 3X, and I'll pay for the shipping and the shirt. And I'll even put a sticker on that says, I wish I was there, but
yeah,
I'd love to get one of those I was there shirts.
Yeah.
Those are always kind of cool to have.
Yeah, hell yeah.
But one of the matches I could see us possibly getting on that would be Takesha and Ibushi, man. And I don't know how much of the show you got to watch. Well, you said you didn't get to finish it. So I don't know if you read the reports, but the final two in the bloodbath that is going to be next week, Blood and Guts, you've got Pac, Ibushi finally coming to AEW.
Oof.
Good gosh, I really want to see the Is All Elite graphic for him. But some of the build was a little meh for me. This match is gonna rule. And at first I was like, Pac, that doesn't make sense. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Yes, it does, because Kenny beat Pac for that title and never gave him a rematch, cheated him out of it. I'm like, oh man. And just the amazing stuff that Omega and Pac did together. I was hoping it was going to be Will Ospreay, but I understand it's not, and that's fine. I'm okay with that, because I'd still like to see Kenny try to get that United States title back. I'm thinking that might be saved for All In. And if it's not, it's not. I mean, I'm okay if they just keep All In being just AEW guys and don't worry about pulling in some of the New Japan guys. But at the same time, if you watch All AEW, you know the New Japan guys pop in. So for those watching, we're having some pretty bad storms here, or at least I am in my part of the woods. Lightning, you probably can kind of hear the thunder going on. So
yeah, I'm getting a little bit of wind picking up here.
Yeah, so. I mean, I keep and it's getting worse out there. I'm like, oh my gosh, don't lose power. Yep. So if we suddenly cut off live, that's why, is my power went out and my internet goes out. No. But you know, we usually try to do an hour of these, so we might wrap this one a little early just because of the weather. Yeah. And old boy there is getting ready to start a new shift at 4 a.m. in the morning tomorrow. So
yeah. So overall, I thought the show, the way it flowed, watching the up and down, I really want to go back and watch the vignette package with Adam Cole and MJF. I think that's going to be awesome. And you know, we didn't have a chance to really talk about WWE and Monday Night Raw. I thought it was a fun show. It set a lot of stuff up, and the crowd, I'm really digging the crowd lately for the WWE shows. They're really into Seth Rollins. They're really into what McIntyre and Sami Zayn are doing. And, you know, we've had a great crowd the last, 3 or 4 shows for AEW. So kudos to the turnaround for our pro wrestling community.
Yeah, I'm digging the Judgment Day stuff. I love if they do it right, it'll be good. I love the infighting. I love we're okay. We're okay. I enjoy that. I just don't want to see them blow it off too quick, right? Like, I'm worried that SummerSlam is going to be a triple threat, then they're going to fall out, and then that'll be it. They could actually almost make this as good as the Bloodline storyline if they do it right. Yep. And, you know, I love that Rhea Ripley is kind of the unofficial leader of the Judgment Day, because
I love that 100%.
She is the one telling them, stop, be quiet, this is what we're going to do instead. And I like that powerful woman, you know, that she is, being the leader of this group and, you know, telling these guys what to do. I'll join the Judgment. You can come tell me what to do. Yeah. But, so I enjoy that. Like I said, what I'm worried about is they're going to try to rush it and blow it off too quick. And whereas they can kind of do something, maybe not as good as the Bloodline storyline, but something that they could drag out a little bit longer, maybe even get us through the Royal Rumble or something, to where, you know, we were going to fall out and not. Or they set up this triple threat at SummerSlam, beat the hell out of Rollins, and then they lose or whatever, so they beat him up after the match, and then he cashes in and wins it anyway, or whatever they want to do. Because, I don't know, I'm okay with Seth being the champion, but if I feel like this title needs to change hands a little bit here, just to kind of build it. And right now, I mean, he's had a couple matches on it, but I don't feel like the title's been built. It still feels like a secondary afterthought title.
Yeah.
And why has Roman still got all 3 belts? I don't know why it's bothering me, but it really bothers me.
So eventually those titles, it's just going to be the undisputed one. It was supposed to have something to do with the significance, and Roman was supposed to be showing off the undisputed title a little bit more. And to this point, he really hasn't. So, and they're supposed to make a final decision and come out with new tag team title belts. They're either going to, they're already 2 individual, but 1 team carries them. They're either going to split them, so each show is going to have their own title, or they'll combine them and they'll get, either way, they're getting brand new titles. They just haven't fully decided what they're going to do with it.
Gotcha.
So that'd be pretty cool. Seeing a little more cross promotion stuff since, they broke it after 2 weeks or something like that after the draft. So. Damn.
Yep.
So
yeah, that was Hey, we're definitely splitting the roster. AJ Styles, go ahead and go on over there. Where's he gone too? He came out and did that little program, and I haven't seen him.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything if he was hurt or they just creative didn't have anything. Yeah, I mean that I don't know.
So you being a WWE guy, what do you think of the story about them Vince-proofing some of the storylines now? And how they're doing vignettes and stuff like a couple weeks early so he can't get in and tamper with things?
I think it's a workaround that is absolutely necessary. I don't, everybody's stock is doing good. The buys on Peacock tickets, the house shows, they just broke a Madison Square Garden record. So you're like, shit. You can't turn and look at Vince and go, you're ruining the product. Because, they're still making money hand over fist. But I like how they're like outpacing, getting information, getting, sort of that propaganda out to get everybody, getting to learn who the superstars are. So very smart.
Yeah, I agree. Vince, we can't change that. We recorded it. We can't change those lines. I think it's good because I can watch it and then see some of the Vinces. Like, Seth Rollins coming out with the buffalo wings. I'm like, that is totally a Vince thing. Granted, I wanted some buffalo wings right then.
Yeah.
So
I did.
I was, it's funny because we want to go to WrestleMania, Philadelphia. We'll get some cheesesteaks. And I was like, what are they going to do in Buffalo next? Because I want to go get some official buffalo wings.
Yeah.
And but like that whole thing I was just like, that is such a Vince. Oh, where are we at? Oh, okay. Hey, have them go out with some buffalo wings. It's such a Vince thing to do.
Like Mick Foley would be like, and right here in Buffalo, New York. Yeah. And now here Seth essentially is, and nothing wrong with it. He's pandering to the crowd. He's the champ. He's going to get the most airtime.
I did get a kick out of the chicken flying out of his mouth when he was trying to talk, though.
I was like,
you could have at least finished it.
Yeah.
And I don't know how he did it, but with my beer, when I eat chicken wings, I got sauce all up in here and down in here. I was like, man, that's a brave man, right? Although, looking at the shape he's in compared to me, probably no sauce on his.
Yeah.
But
cheated.
Yeah. It's not buffalo wings if it's just chicken.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed Raw too. I like the Judgment Day thread throughout the thing. Again, it's kind of the same issue I always have with Raw, though, is there's only a few things I really care about, but they put that on enough that I enjoy the show. Like, I saw the Sammy, KO, and Seth thing coming a mile away. I'm like, oh, okay, now I know what the main event is. It's going to be a triple threat, probably end in, a DQ, which I was surprised it didn't. It ended in an ending, but, and I like aspects of it. I think my biggest complaint is it's 3 hours long. Yeah. And I know that's silly, but I think I would enjoy Raw more if they condensed it a little and made it 2 hours. Cut out some of the filler stuff. Cut out the we've got 10 minutes to spare. Let's film an entrance, go to some backstage segments, and come back. Like, personally, I do. I think if it was a 2 hour show, I would enjoy it. Because look at SmackDown. I enjoy SmackDown usually a little more than I do Raw, and I think it's because of that 2 hour aspect of it, personally.
Yeah, you don't have to invest such a huge amount of time. And not that 2 hours isn't, a lot, but, you're adding another hour to, you're like, okay, well, I'm going to have to DVR this, or I'm going to have to, I'm not going to be able to watch all of it. I'm going to have to fast forward through it. And now you're skipping over some, worthwhile segments. So it's, you're spot on. And what scared me when they were talking the WWE, whatever their new TV deal ends up being, they're open to Friday Night SmackDown being 3 hours. I was like, all right, I own some shares in the stock. As an owner, I would like to speak freely. But
when I heard that too, I was like, no, man, I don't know. Because Yeah, they have a hard time filling 3 hours on Raw. I can't see 3 hours on Roman Reigns' show where he takes up probably an hour of it anyway. So, I mean, there was a lot of Bloodline stuff. Yeah, just his entrance alone.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy it. I think we haven't done ratings in a while, man. It's been a while, so we can get back in this flow of it. But I did give Raw, I guess we didn't do AEWs either, but we can go back. But I gave Raw, I think, 3 beards. It was average. Yep. I enjoyed it. It wasn't top of the line, best I've ever seen, but it wasn't horrible.
Yeah, likewise. I thought it was a good show. I really enjoyed the crowd. Damn, Ricochet, that was awesome to see him.
Oh yeah, we didn't even get on that.
Getting some promo time. I'd like to see him as the Intercontinental Champion or maybe even as a tag team champion. I don't think he'll ever be a world champion in the WWE, which is unfortunate because, great talent, and getting him some reps on the mic, I think, will be very valuable. Same thing for Paul, too. Paul's mic skills and promo was horrible for me anyway, and they got hung up on words. They were calling each other homie, and it's like, come on, you're better than that.
I did like his line though where Ricochet was saying something about him. He goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. Everybody was chanting about me, even though we were saying he's an asshole." I forgot what the chant was. I was like, that was pretty good. That was a good off the cuff line. So, and I have a feeling he gets a little freedom. I think he ad-libs a little bit, and I think that might be why sometimes the other people get hung up a little. Just out of curiosity, I mean, we can cover it if we do a preview show later. But do you think Logan Paul goes over Ricochet?
I do.
Me too.
Yeah, I think Ricochet he's in that zone where one loss won't hurt him, but a win will really help Paul.
Yep.
Because he's coming off of a loss. So I think, I think that's fair.
Yeah, I agree 100%. So I do want to shout out to the fact that we talked about Brian Cage and Ricochet. And I know you're off your game tonight because you didn't mention Lucha Underground at all.
I was trying to be nice, but here we are, man. You can't go a night without Lucha. Yeah, I thought it was, even, whenever you see Io Sky, she did some time in Lucha Underground, and just it's really cool to see them as they continue on with their career. And just seeing where Ricochet is now, when he was in NXT, just the dynamic athlete he was, him being able to showcase that now, although, a couple years, down the road, but it's really cool to see him. And I got my Gift of the Gods title over there. Come on, Ricochet, Prince Puma, sir.
Yep. I was like, man, we're gonna get through the whole show talking about some Lucha people, and he's not even gonna bring up Lucha Underground tonight.
Dang,
so I had to make a point to remind you that they were both on Lucha Underground. If you can find it somewhere to watch it, fantastic wrestling experience. Completely different than anything you'll see right now, but a lot of fun. The storytelling in it and the production was just off the wall. It was great. Good stuff.
Awesome.
Well,
loved it.
My power is literally flickering. So I know we're going to try to go an hour, but if you're good with it, I'm good with wrapping because I don't want to lose right in the middle of what we're doing.
Yes, sir. Let's call it.
Cool, man. Well, for all those watching live, we appreciate everything. Sorry we didn't go our full hour. Like we said, the weather's getting kind of bad, and I don't want to just cut out and not be able to give you guys the proper farewell. But look for us anywhere you get your social media, whether it's TikTok. I think you said you started a Threads, is it?
Yes, sir.
Didn't even know that was a thing. But Threads, TikTok, Rumble, YouTube, Instagram, all those fun places. No Shave Man Cave, that's us. You will find us. Collectively, we run the Twitter and all that stuff. So, No Shave Man Cave, wherever you do your social media. Look for the podcast. We will start dropping podcasts again right now. When we get done recording this, I will put it out on the podcast form, a little edited up. But start following us on Apple, wherever you get your podcasts from. We will start dropping at least 3 a week here going forward with our reviews, some previews, some news, that kind of stuff. We are working behind the scenes on some other ideas for some shows. Like to get back to doing at least 6 days a week of some content coming out, but we're working on some ideas on some retro reviews, some top 10s, some life stories, maybe just some barbecue show. I don't know. We'll come up with some stuff, but we want to make sure we're getting a little out there. Old Ellie J there's on the back side of, middle side of some of the stuff he's got to get through. So but we are here as a fam to support him. Whatever you need, we got you, brother. So I will make the promise right now. If he can't get on, I swear I will come on and try to even do a solo show, which I'm nowhere near as good as him, but I will try just so we can try to get some content out more. Feel bad for all of our fans that are following us and listening to us that we haven't dropped anything in a while. So please stick with us. We had a rough month and a half. We're getting back to it. You will start seeing more consistent contact. Where do you get that? No Shave Man Cave, where you get your podcast from. If you want to reach out to us, noshavemancave@gmail.com. That's our email. We check that daily. Now it's time for something we haven't done in a while. It's the hot tag.
Bump and feed, bump and feed. All right now. Hey, great show. Thank you very much for tuning in with us. JT, hopefully your power holds on. And happy to announce that we are in the running for a Blue Sky account, which is supposed to be the future of social media, as well as on Rumble. So come check us out, the No Shave Man Cave, wherever you get your socials. So until next time, friends, fam, thanks for checking in. Thanks for being here with us. Look out for yourselves. Look out for each other. And we'll see you on the floor.
You've been listening to the No Shave Man Cave.
If it's pro wrestling, we're talking about it. Unless we see something shiny and wander off into the woods. If you hang around long enough, we'll eventually come back. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Fire off your comments and be sure to leave us a 5-star rating, and we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, hit us up on Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok at No Shave Men Cave. Y'all be cool, and we'll see you next time on the No Shave Men Cave.